cupping the elbow and I'm bringing your posture down. They'll fight, they'll fight, they'll fight, and then when it starts to break, okay, unfortunately sometimes we can be a little bit open. But if you play your angles, you can save yourself quite a bit. So now what we're going to do is Matt's going to be in my guard. So he's putting his hands on my hips. He's controlling me from here. This position alone, if he just stays here, the likelihood is we're in a stalemate. If I can't break him down, and if he doesn't start trying to put any pressure into my legs, we'll sit here and we'll play this really weird hand fight, hand slap battle. So the part that you can almost always start to guarantee is that, you know, one of us is going to start to win the fight, and if it's not me, then Matt's probably going to start to frame up. He's going to start to move his legs to get him in position, and then he's going to start to put pressure into my legs. Okay. Now, there's lots and lots and lots of different ways we can build frames, but most of them tend to go by a very similar premise and principle that what Matt just did. He puts one knee right into my tailbone so that as he steps the other leg back, then it creates greater space between him and I. Okay? But most of the general breaks also have one major flaw. Okay? And that is just simply when he goes to put himself into position, he puts himself into a straight line for a very brief amount of time. The better he is, the less it happens, but it's all very attackable. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to attack it in two different directions. Okay? So right from here, as Matt is starting to frame, okay, right as he sets that knee right on my tailbone, okay, as the knee is going in, if I just twist to the direction that the frame just left, okay, he's off balance. And then at that point in time, he has a choice to make. And almost everybody will make the choice to put the hand on the mat. Okay, go back. Okay. And it is a minor window. It doesn't stay open for very long, but it's a no harm, no foul if I try to touch that window every time he opens it. So all I'm doing is taking my knees and just twisting them to whichever side I want him to go. So as he starts to frame up, right there, okay, as soon as I feel him sliding that knee in, I twist. And then the hand almost always ends up going to the mat. Now, if I happen to be controlling him from here, now granted you would question, why is he putting his knee if he thinks he doesn't have control over his own hands? That legit would not be a very good decision, okay? But if I can block this side out, it's one of the stupidest sweeps that you'll ever get in the game. So now one of the other options is I missed, and he goes and he sets that knee in here. So right from this quick little piece, he's about to step the other leg back. And as he starts to step the other leg back, I take him to the other way, okay? So when we look at way base is created, okay, he's creating a V on the floor to give himself as wide of a base as possible. But then he moves one knee in, which means the V itself, it's now broken on this side. That's an easy piece. And then if I fail on that one, when he steps this leg back, the V is changing its angle, which means it's also changing where he is strong. So I actually get two opportunities to potentially break him down. I like the first one, okay? And the reason why I like the first one is ultimately this. It's literally the first one. So if I fail, I still get the attack number two. If I was the procrastinator with my homework. If you wait at the last second, the amount of options you have is really limited at the very, very end. And if you go for it early, you get all the options on the table and you get to pick and choose. So if you wait till the end as a procrastinator, you're done. You're not going to have very many options. So again, from here, the moment he goes to make his little frame, right there, I make my twist, and there's the underhook on the arm. So remember what we were going after. Not his hands. I want to go after his elbow and specifically just above the elbow. Okay? If you start to use that as the control points, elbows lead to shoulders because this is all mechanically connected. So if I can keep this down, the shoulder stays down. Then it also gives me access to his head, okay? Or gives me access directly to get both hands on the shoulder or to control here, okay? So that's what we're gonna do is, let's do about 5 on this side. So as soon as he frames, twist and underhook. As soon as you have the underhook, your thumb comes up. At this point in time, I can pull him with my legs, lock him up, or I can go to either side and pin that shoulder down. You see my forearms in the side of his face, okay? Not way out here. I want it deep in the crook of his neck. So we'll do 5 on that side, and then we'll do 5 on the other. So right here, that's my other option. So as it happens, that's one of the easy unders. Use that thumb to scoop it. He's gonna punch you in the side of the neck. That's okay. Just have your head cocked to the side, ready to catch it. Okay, once it's here, we can lock our hands, or again, we can grab the head, grab the arm simultaneously. And it's the same grip on either side. It's not different because it's left or right. But again, you have the option of going either way. All right, let's give it a shot. 1, 2, up the arm. Okay, the tie dramatically just shifted. Once I've got the underhook and once I can start to pin that down, now everything just shifted dramatically. Okay, so again from here, whichever one that you want to go into. Okay, again, I like the first one because it's my first opportunity. Again, there I go. As soon as I come in, I'm okay if I want to grab both the head and the arm at the same time. But for myself, if I'm going to go head and arm, I like to shut the arm aside. And in most instances from here, when I make this entry, I won't get the arm to go all the way across. He's going to start to almost immediately start to posture a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I use that to shift him over, trap the shoulder, and get my forearm directly into the side of his neck. And again, this has to be tight on the shoulder itself. I can't be out here, okay? I'm in tight and my forearm is into the side of his neck. Okay, now from here, I'll start to elevate my elbow. Now I can open up and use that as my motivator sweep to be able to get him to go over. We call it the motivator sweep because most of it, when I first start prying my elbow up into the side of his neck, this is my red light, green light. If Matt lifts his head in response to my pressure, green light, go. If he doesn't, if I'm here and I'm pressing and I don't get any response out of him, red light, we're gonna change directions, okay? But once I'm in, okay, he frames, okay, boom, I'm under, immediately from here, it's okay, I can shift, trap down, I want it tight, like literally I'm karate chopping his shoulder and holding that pin, okay? When I lift my elbow, this is the hard part that a lot of people struggle. When I lift my elbow, his shoulder cannot come off my chest. My hands are pulling to my chest and my elbow is pushing up. This is how I know it's go time. This is green light. For those of you that have good legs, right here, I can come in, potentially I can go butterfly, okay? For myself, as I'm here, this is where, if I'm going to scoop, that's where my butterfly, my personal butterfly is going to engage. Is after I've gotten the first twist, I'll be here, punch, okay? I saw his head go up. This is go time. I release, okay? Once I've done this, now I know it's go. And at this point, you can feel whether or not this one needs to scoop to then kick, or whether or not there's already enough pressure going over. But again, if you take, when I first trap and I pull him in, his shoulder cannot leave my chest. If I go to push my elbow up, and by doing it, I push my own hands away, this gap through here, this is one of the reasons why he won't twist. Because all the power's gone. All I'm doing is pushing him up in the air. If I keep his shoulder down, but I lift his face, we're literally rotating in the process. But as you can see, when I'm here, how far can I go? Not very far. That's why, now how far did I go? I mean, now he's already almost 90 degrees that way. So right here, this is So it was green light from the beginning, because I knew when I lifted, I knew the twist was already beginning. And then when I turned to my side, right here, again, my foot was on the ground. If he tries to step over, it's easy. He literally just gave you the butterfly. If they try to step over your leg, you just lift your leg. It's one of the, I hate to say this, it's one of the things that it feels like it's something you want to do, but it's something that, again, it's the worst thing that's going to be for you. Is if I turn to my side and you think you're just going to step over my leg, I literally just lift my shin, okay, and then you just played yourself. Okay? But once I'm here, if I don't feel like I have enough twisting with my hips, you take that foot, put it inside, and then you can hit your butterfly. All right, let's do a shot. 1, 2, 3. So again, however we make the entry, again, and however we get under the arm into the underhook. Underhooks are always king, okay? And ultimately speaking, right here, Matt does have to be cautious because that underhooks do two massive things. Underhooks lift, and underhooks are gateways to the back. So once an underhook takes place, Matt has to be really cautious, especially from guard, okay? And so again, however I get it, I make him lean, bump, 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 use those legs in here, break him down, okay? Again, I'm already steering him, okay? And this is where he has to be careful, because sometimes what I will do is I'll steer him to the point. This is my red light, green light again. If I can pull him all the way to this side, then my foot's gonna release, and then I'm gonna start to go to this side. Now this is where my hands will separate. This one's gonna stay low on his neck, and this one is gonna shoot to give me access to the back of his elbow. And if that happens, then the gateway to the back starts to open up. This is one of the reasons why, as soon as I start to pull Matt, he's not just going to accept being pulled to this side, because he knows that the gateway is on over here. And if that gate lifts up, he's in trouble. That's one of the reasons why he's almost always going to try to center back up. Yeah? And in a lot of cases, he's going to try to free up his head. That's one of the reasons why when I'm in here, okay, and I break him down, and I'm here, okay, I'm going to go quickly this way, and then I'll just shave over his head. Because I know from here, when I pull him, okay, he's going to be pushing back in, but I want that frame so that when I pull him to this side, now if he pushes into my frame, it's easier for me to keep his head over here. Even though I just lost the gateway to the back, I now control to keep that frame on his neck. And then again, if he pushes in, oh, there goes the motivation. Okay, but now that I'm keeping his head away, now I'm going to open, and I'm going to do the same and start to put heavy downward pressure into the shoulder and make sure that you keep the wrist caught in the crook of your neck. If I go down like this, he's out. He'll turn his wrist and he'll just pull his hand over by his head, turn your wrist to, yep, and he'll just go right, okay? If I'm here and I keep my head up, even right here, okay, no downward pressure, he's still gonna have to get up and over my head to find his way out. Couple that now with downward pressure of my arm here. Now when he tries to pull his hand out, okay, we're making it more and more and more difficult each time that we go, okay? Now that I'm here, now my hands separate. This one goes over the top, and this one now starts to connect. So I get up on my arm and I'm pushing his head to the ground. Now this is where, again, for myself, this one starts to hunt for this leg over here. So I've got him in, so now I'm gonna start to push. Drive my hips in to create my sweep and take over my mount. So again, same entrance, just play it just slightly different to either side. So basically, if we think about the back take being in the middle, I have an opportunity to be in the middle. If I can push the arm aside, back take is wide open. I have an opportunity, if he pushes into me, to sweep him to the left. And then I also have an opportunity to sweep him to my right. So one grip is giving me right now, just in this setup, 3 different potentialities. And there's way more than that, because each one of these, when I break them down into a side, there's a whole lot of opportunities from there. You know, for like, if Matt was doing it to me, I'd be worried about Matt triangling me. I'd be worried about Matt throwing arm bars at me, things of that nature from this sideways breakdown. Okay? So even once we get into it, there's a lot more potential opportunity, but we have to start getting comfortable even getting there. So he picks how he wants to go. I'm in, I shave, I frame. Depending on how he responds and how I feel, okay, kind of helps me know which way I would like to go. Now again, from here, I'm using my frames. If I want, I can even start to open up. This one has to push down into my chest so that as I turn, okay, Matt should feel a lot of pressure in his arm right now. It's not going to tap him, but he should feel a lot of pressure. Then from here, I start to get up. Now this is where it gets weird. Push down on his shoulder and then push your hip into his chest. Okay? Don't worry about your hips going way up in the air, things of that nature. Just put your hip right into his side. It's going to stay low, and literally you're going to roll right over into mount and still have the arm at the end of the attack. All right, give it a shot. 1, 2, 3.